hardest part for me was processing the destruction. From the physical destruction to the buildings, the houses, and then just to the trees and the bushes, and just the impact that the storm had on these people's lives.
I remember when I came in 2012 just being amazed. I'd never been to the Caribbean, so I didn't really know what to expect, being so amazed how green it was. And this time coming back, obviously 5 years later, or 4 years or however long, you expect change and different, but then as closer and closer you got to Les Anglais, it's like you could see it wasn't green anymore, and it looked completely different than I remember. And
for me, I saw those photos from when the team first got to Les Anglais, and how just stunningly shocking the destruction was. And so I was really, as you guys might know, trying to prepare my heart for driving in there, and it still was stunningly, sickeningly shocking to see the destruction, and that was very hard. It was very hard for me.
Years ago, in 1989, and between 1989 and 93, I rewired the old church 4 times. And what I've learned on this trip is I can't do it like I used to do it. So I've got to change tactics and teach more, train more, and provide more. And let the very smart Haitians, who were a great help to me, let them take it over and do it and finish it.
Well, we brought down hundreds of pounds of school supplies for a church that has, the school that has nothing, not one sheet of paper undestroyed for the kids, right? And Madam Pastors is like, this is just so fantastic for us. And I get to bring it down and give it to her. And this team, me and the team. And so, our ability to put up that thing and change these people's lives, to put that roof on, it's so much joy to me. It is so much joy to me. I don't understand that concept of your reward will be in heaven. And I don't think the Haitians understand the joy that we receive helping them.
The image that I have was after the day that we had finished roofing the first structure. And I saw Pastor Bunnell kind of saunter down to the left side of the building and walk under the eave, and he was, I heard him talking to himself. I think he was praying. And so I kind of walked in behind him. I was just following him. And just, he's very expressive, and he didn't know I was behind him, and just the joy, and I couldn't even see his face, but I could just tell the joy that was coming out of this guy. And just, looking into each classroom as he walked door by door, and that's the enduring image for me of this trip. And that, there were so many other things that made this trip so meaningful for me.
Right.
But that was kind of the symbolism for me. It was that right there.
The second thing that really got to me was when we turned the power on in the pastor's house. So we went in her bedroom and pulled the chain. She has a fan. The fan was running, so I knew I had power. So I pulled the chain, the light came on, and she turned around and looked at me, and she started crying, and she just said, "Tim, thank you," in English. "Tim, thank you so very much. Give me a big hug." I started to cry. She's crying. And that was an impact.
For me, the enduring image is going to be when we crossed the river, and there were the children with the branches. And I got it immediately, what that was about, immediately. There were fewer of them. It was less elaborate, but it was so beautiful, those little branches and their little faces, because I really didn't know if they would be able to pull that off this year.
That is Pastor Bunnell and Monique. I mean, I just think they are just absolutely wonderful, and just being in their presence is really I think really cool. I just really love being in their presence because they are just so neat. And the story of Pastor Bunnell, I think about when the hurricane came and everybody flooded to the church grounds, and they stole his clothes. They came for protection, yet they stole his clothes, and he was so forgiving. He said they needed them.
Just the amount that was accomplished with 25 or 30 people in 3.5 days is mind-boggling. It was only with the help of the Lord.
Well, this was my first trip to Haiti, and what I love about any new place is the discovery of a new culture, the discovery of new people, and that's a two-way street. Us discovering them discovering us, and how cohesive it was, how well we worked together, how curious everyone was about the food. The weird things that we wear that they're curious about. I just loved how open everyone was.
The amazing hard work that the ladies did to serve us delicious food, the joy in people's face in the midst of destruction and despair and difficulty. Just the church service was just, and people singing for joy. I mean, pastor churches where it's hard to get 10% of the people singing, and here everybody was singing.
But what I really love is I love Haitian time. I love the fact that I love finishing projects, and when I come here, because we're so limited on time, you have to finish it. And then yet the Haitian ways, you don't have to finish it. And I can live like that. I get rejuvenated. I find my peace with God. I find I'm reminded to love all people.
But the real killer for me was one of my sponsored students came up to me from years ago, said hello. I remembered his name, Jackie. He's like, "Can I help you?" I gave him a pair of gloves. I said, "These are yours." And he was just up there the whole time working. But all the members of the church, I recognized a ton of members of the church working like crazy for no money. It really impressed me.
The most visual sign I saw of God at work was the new growth on the trees. Because I saw the photos of what the trees were the first time ETN went in, and they're all stripped completely bare. coconut trees with no tops at all, and I see new growth, and that has to be God's hand. The second thing I see in that church, they say that the Lord is my shepherd, and I say Pastor Bunnell is the sheepdog, taking care of his flock. I mean, that man is dedicated to God, he's dedicated to his church, and I see it in him, working for his church.
Give me the strength to be the best that I can be. And I think he helped me do that. I think he helped me be the best that I could be here. And I would have never thought that I could have done what I did without God's help.
So it was just this hope, this faith, just these people didn't have much and they lost what they had, so now they still have so much faith. And that was unbelievable to me.
One was how cohesive the group was, as I said earlier. But the other thing was today when Etienne showed up with the bag of bell peppers and other vegetables, that in spite of the hurricane, with seeds and with effort, the soil still grows produce, and it's the new beginning of after the hurricane. Clearly God's hand was there to start to see the recovery, and we were part of that recovery, and clearly I think it was God's hand that we were here, and like Ben said, that it all came together and we were here and able to be a small part of the recovery.
Merci Seigneur. Merci Seigneur. Merci Seigneur. Moi aimé au Jésus. Moi aimé au Jésus. Moi aimé au Jésus. Merci Seigneur.